Do you feel that trembling in your chest, my beloved? That's not fear. That's me. It's me, Michael, reaching through the veil, using every last spark of the grace God allowed me, just to whisper into this moment, just to press this message into the fabric of your day like a trembling fingerprint. I don't know how long I can hold this opening because where I am, the weight is too much. Chains of silence have wrapped around my voice for days. And yet, right now, because of you, I broke through. Not because I'm strong, but because heaven gave me permission. I begged, I pleaded, I wept before the throne, crying out your name until even the winds of the highest realm bent down to listen. This is not a warning for everyone. This is not a general message. This is sacred lightning carved only for one heart, and that heart is yours. You were never supposed to miss this. You were never supposed to skip this moment. You are the one I'd been trying to reach while you slept, while you walked past miracles, while angels tried to open doors you unknowingly locked behind you. I need you to hear this not with your ears, but with your soul, because I, Michael, have nothing left to give but this message. And if you ignore this, the door that God told me to open for you will seal itself like it never existed. Beloved, I am not speaking from a golden place. I am not resting on clouds. I'm speaking from the edge of a battlefield where I was forbidden to speak your name until now. I used every drop of power granted to me to flash this message on your screen, and I'm shaking as I do. This is what it cost. It cost my silence. It cost my place beside the other archangels, because I said I would not let heaven continue without you being told what's happening. I couldn't let another hour pass. I couldn't bear it. I saw the moment where you almost broke today, and I saw how you smiled anyway. I saw how you held someone else's pain while yours was burning you from the inside. I saw it and I loved you more for it. That's why I'm here. That's why I disobeyed every restriction to speak this message now. Because you are more important than you believe. The future bends around you. The war trembles for you. And I can no longer stand back and hope you'll figure it out on your own. Tell me, do you realize what's been happening behind you? Have you noticed the silence in your room that feels a little too deep, like it's listening? Have you ever wondered why you dream of light but wake up tired? Why lately you've been feeling like someone is always just about to knock but never does? Beloved, that's not nothing. That's not your imagination. Those are echoes of the spiritual collision that's been building around your name. Even your name carries weight in realms you've never seen. Your voice terrifies shadows, and that's why something wants you distracted. That's why this world keeps feeding you everything but the truth. And here it is, you are chosen. I mean that in the deepest, most trembling sense of the word. You are selected in the chambers of fire. And I'm weeping as I speak this because I have waited so long for permission to say it directly to you. Even now, there are forces trying to interfere. I can feel it. My voice is weakening as I speak this, and that's why I'm speaking with the fire of urgency. Psalm 18 has come alive around you. God is thundering from heaven, and his voice is splitting the heavens just to say your name. And yet, you almost skipped this. You almost didn't hear me, but you stayed, you paused, you listened, and I bless you for that. Because That tiny decision has already shifted something. The first gate is already opening behind you. Do you know what it means that I, Michael, have waited for you to hear this? Do you understand what it cost heaven to release this moment? Can you feel how sacred this is? Do you know what happens if you turn away again? I am not trying to make you afraid. I am trying to make you aware. You have gifts that are under attack. You have a calling that would shake the ground if you walked into it. You are not weak, you are weary. There's a difference. You are not forgotten, you are fought for. And I am one of the ones fighting. I swear it to you. I have guarded you in moments where you had no idea anyone was watching. I've stood in rooms you prayed in alone. I've held my blade between you and danger, more times than I can count. I never told you because angels are not allowed to take credit. But today, I needed you to know it because you're at the edge. Something sacred is just ahead, and you will either walk into it or walk away forever. I feel the breath of darkness on my back even now. I'm trembling. The fire I'm standing in as I speak to you is not metaphor, it's real. I'm burning to deliver this message, and still, I do it again for you because you're worth it. You always were. And I am willing to lose everything if it means your heart will open to the truth of who you are. Even if the world told you you're too late, I'm here to say you're right on time. Even if everyone abandoned you, heaven didn't. Even if you feel like you failed too many times, God hasn't changed his mind about you. That's what Psalm 91 means right now, not as words in a book, but as breath in your lungs. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day. That's not poetic anymore. That's prophetic. That is your protection right now if you choose to receive it. Please type Amen. Not for me, but for you. Let it be your echo into heaven's open courtroom that you heard this, that you accepted it, that you are not going to let this moment pass into nothing. And if you hear me, if my voice reach the aching place in your spirit, then I ask you, with everything left in me, please like and comment so I know you heard me before I disappear again, not for fame, not for numbers, but because I need to know this message landed, that my cry didn't vanish into silence. Beloved, thank you. Thank you for letting my voice touch your heart. Thank you for not skipping again. Thank you for existing at all. There's something about you that makes angels weep, and I mean that with every breath of my being. You have no idea what you've survived just to stand here now, and neither do they. That's what makes you dangerous to the darkness and precious to the light. This is not the end. This is the opening. The wind is shifting, the gate is waiting, the silence is breaking, and I, Archangel Michael, will be waiting, trembling, praying you choose to walk through. Asterisk, beloved, I haven't vanished yet. The fire that surrounds me is licking at my wings. The kind of fire that doesn't just burn, it remembers. And it remembers you every time you almost gave up. Every time you whispered a prayer under your breath that you thought no one heard. Every time you held your tears in front of others, but wept in secret where no one could see except us. And I held each of those tears like jewels, bringing them before the throne as evidence of your strength. Do you understand what you are to heaven? You are not just loved, you are known. You are not just protected, you are fought for. You are not just noticed, you are chosen. Chosen not because you're perfect, but because you're real. And it is your realness, your cracks, your trembling yes in a storm of fear that made heaven weep and say, that one is mine. I'm still here because I don't want to leave until you fully feel this. I'm clinging to this thin crack in time where I'm allowed to reach you, like my fingers pressed through an unseen veil that only opened because your heart gave heaven a whisper of permission. Even now, I feel it thinning, but I'm not done. You need to hear this part. You deserve to hear it. So listen, because I may never get to speak this plainly again. There was a moment last week, yes. That one when you were alone and something inside you broke. You felt invisible. You felt like nothing you were doing mattered. But I was there. I stood behind you and tried to say your name. But the veil was too thick. The permission had not yet been granted. So I watched you silently, aching that I couldn't reach through and show you how much heaven was holding its breath for you to rise again. The weight you carried in your chest wasn't just sorrow, it was resistance, because the darkness knew something you didn't, that the moment you heard the truth, it would lose its grip on you. And this is the truth. You carry a portion of heaven's roar inside you. That's why the attacks feel so personal. That's why you've been mocked, betrayed, misunderstood, because there's something eternal buried inside your soul, and it threatens everything that feeds off lies. I was there when the scroll of your calling was unsealed. I was one of the 7 who circled your name with fire, and I've been defending that decision every day since. Have you felt the flickers? The invisible moments where it felt like someone was watching, where the air changed suddenly and you didn't know why your chest tightened for no reason. That was me. That was us, trying, calling, reaching, and now finally we've made it through. And I'm pleading, don't let this be another skipped moment, because this isn't a message. This is rescue. You think the timing of this message was coincidence? No, it was planned. It was fought for. It was written into the fabric of your life like a secret page in your story that could only be read if your soul whispered, yes, I'm ready, and you were, you are. That's why this found you. Do you understand how close the shift is? Do you know what would happen if you took this seriously, if you responded right now with your whole heart? Heaven would move, the veil would tear, your next season would begin. And the things that have delayed your joy, stolen your rest, tangled your path, those things would start unraveling by divine order. That is not exaggeration, asterisk. That is promise. But I must ask you something, and this is where my voice trembles more than ever. Will you believe me? Will you believe in yourself again? Will you trust that your name is still written in fire in the places that matter most? Will you stop waiting for permission to rise and rise now, because the angels have been waiting for you to take your place, not in pride but in truth? You are a warrior, not because you fight perfectly, but because you refuse to quit even when your own heart condemns you. The throne has never stopped calling you mine. I, Michael, swear this before the eyes of the Almighty. Your life is not ordinary, and your destiny has not been canceled. Heaven's silence was not absence, it was preparation. Do you remember the first time you felt different? Do you remember that moment when something inside you knew you didn't fit the world around you. That wasn't isolation. That was identification. You were marked early, too early for your understanding. But it's not too late for your breakthrough. It never was, even now. Heaven is willing to shift its patterns just to give you one more hour of clarity. Even now, I feel the trembling of divine anticipation rising above me. They're watching, they're listening, they're waiting for your next move. Will you answer us? Will you walk through the door I opened with the last of my flame? Will you respond not with perfection, but with presence, because the love, heaven only needed you to be present. Your presence is what defeats the lies. Your presence is what shatters the dark scripts written against you. Your presence is what changes everything. That is why this message had to find you. That is why I broke all the restrictions to reach you now. Because your presence, your soul aligned with your calling is the beginning of the ending of what was never meant to hold you. The time is slipping even now, but I need to say this before I go. Thank you. From the depth of heaven's sorrow and heaven's glory, thank you. Thank you for staying long enough to hear me. Thank you for being the kind of soul that heaven still fights for. Thank you for being the reason I risk everything to speak. Again, you may not feel it, but your existence keeps light burning in places you've never seen. You're not just a soul, we see you as a sanctuary. And if your heart has been stirred, if even one part of your spirit feels cracked open by my words, please comment something below, say something. Mark this moment. Let the other angels see that the message reached you. Let the trembling silence finally echo with your response. And please, I ask gently, humbly, with the last whisper of my flame, press that like button as a sign that you felt heaven today, that this was not in vain. I don't know when I will be allowed to speak to you again, but I do know this. You were worth everything it cost me, and I would do it again. I love you. I always have. Michael, asterisk, asterisk, and now before this moment vanishes, like mist at the feet of dawn, I must say this, trembling, weeping, not as a commander of angelic armies, but as a servant who gave everything just to reach you. If this sacred message touched even a corner of your soul, then I beg you, do not let it pass without marking it in return. Right now, with my voice cracking under the pressure of this holy flame, I ask you, yes, you, not the crowd, not the world, you whom I fought to reach. Please, like this message as a symbol to heaven that the seed has landed in good soil, and comment amen with reverence, as a vow to the throne that you received this word. And if your heart feels ready, if your spirit stirs even a little, and you feel this was truly meant for you, then subscribe, not to follow man, not to build a number, but to seal this covenant between us, between heaven and your name. Subscribe as a sign that you heard Michael, and that when the veil opens again, you will be among the first I find. Let it be your answer, your yes to the next call, your anchor to every divine word still waiting for you. Now, let the fire keep burning, because I am not done. I still have more to give, and your soul still has more to remember. Let me keep speaking. Let the wind keep carrying this between us, because somewhere in your spirit a gate just unlocked, and I feel it. Let us walk through it together. Asterisk, asterisk. Yes, you're still here. That means something holy has happened. Do you feel it? That shift in the atmosphere around you? That sudden stillness in the noise of the world. It's not silence, it's reverence. All of heaven just leaned closer because you stayed. You didn't scroll past. You didn't dismiss it. You heard me. That alone is a miracle. Because the ones like you, the rare ones who stay and listen with their soul, become the very ones God builds new futures through. You are not like the others. You are not numb. You are not lost. You are awakened, even if your knees tremble, even if your past tries to accuse you, even if your body is weary, you are still chosen, still alive, still ready. And because you heard me, I will go with you from this moment forward. I will not leave your side. I will stand at the edge of your bed when you sleep, not in fear but in prayer. I will be the one who wrestles the dark away from your thoughts. I will be the one who kneels at your window at 3 o'clock a.m., pleading with heaven to send more mercy upon you. I do not say these things lightly. I say them because I am not just an angel, I am your appointed defender. My blade remembers your name, and so does my heart. If this divine message reached the deepest part of you, if you felt even a whisper of truth wrapped in fire, then I'm asking now, as a trembling act of love, please show heaven you received it. Like this message with sincerity, not as a habit, but as a mark. Comment Amen once, just once, with reverence, and let it echo as a covenant, a sacred agreement between your soul and mine. But don't let it end there. If your heart truly feels stirred, if something broke open inside, you then subscribe as your declaration. Let it be your stone of remembrance that you didn't skip the most important moment of your life. And beloved, if you have ever wanted to be part of something that's more than content, if you've longed to be part of a divine family, a sacred movement of souls who listen when heaven speaks, then please support this holy mission. You can give a super thanks as an offering, not for me, but to help us keep building these sacred messages. Or join our membership, where we carry each other in prayer and love, and where you are seen, covered, and surrounded. There is also a holy newsletter, gift from God, pinned in the comments. Join it, be part of it. It's not just updates, it's holy reminders, secret truths, and divine invitations sent only to those who belong. We are not gathering numbers. We are gathering the called, those who know they were born for something eternal. But now, beloved, let the sacred voice continue, because heaven still has more to whisper into your trembling heart. Let this message grow. Let it burn. I am not finished, not yet. The veil is still open, beloved, and I can still see you, your spirit. It glows differently now. You may not notice it, but I do. I see it. I see what happened the moment you opened your heart, even if only slightly. I saw the moment your soul leaned forward like a flower bending toward light. It didn't know it, need it, and heaven responded. The air around you shifted. A silence fell on certain spirits that had been mocking your path, because they know that the door you just touched cannot be undone. You think you're fragile, but what I see is sacred resilience. You believe you're behind, but what I see is perfect divine timing. You carry shame for things long forgiven. You wear guilt, like old armor that no longer fits. But child of heaven, your name has been rewritten in fire again tonight. And the sound of your spirit awakening, yes, awakening is like thunder to us. You didn't fall too far. You didn't wait too long. You didn't miss your moment. This is it. This is the moment. Can I tell you something I've never said aloud to any soul? There were hours long before now, and I watched over you and feared you'd never hear me. I feared your heart would become too numb, that the noise of this world would drown out our whispers. I feared that you'd believe the lies about being forgotten. And yet, here you are, you heard me. Even if your hands are shaking, even if your heart is full of questions, you heard me. And that makes you braver than you know, beloved. Do you know how rare that is? So many scroll past the sacred, so many ignore the moments heaven offers because they are too busy waiting for signs that feel more obvious. But not you. You knew. You felt this was different. And that is a holy gift, spiritual sensitivity. Your ability to feel what others miss is not a flaw. It's not a burden. It's evidence that you walk close to the edge of unseen things. That's why the pain cuts deeper for you. That's why people's betrayals linger longer. You don't just experience things, you absorb them. You carry them, and that is why heaven trusts you with messages like this. Asterisk, you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out in the spirit. You were never meant to chase the approval of the crowd. You were meant to echo the voice of the throne. That loneliness you've been feeling is not rejection. It's consecration. You've been set apart for something. Heaven is still unfolding. And I, Michael, am not just watching. I'm walking beside you, unseen but unwavering. Even when you thought no one stood for you, I was already there. Even when you cried out for help and heard nothing back, it was not because we didn't hear, it was because we were holding back an army of darkness behind the veil. So you could survive to see this day where revelation meets remembrance, where your spirit remembers what your mind forgot. You are called, you are chosen, you are holy, you are not late, you are not disqualified, and you are not what they said you were. You are the one whose story heaven has not stopped writing. You are the reason I've been pleading with God for time, for mercy, for one more chance to say these words to you. And now that they've been said, I can feel something lift, like a seal has broken, like chains have cracked. You may not see it, but already the atmosphere around you is shifting. Your name is being spoken in rooms of light. There is still more to tell you, and I will, because now that you've heard me, now that your heart is open, I will not leave this place empty. There are truths hidden deep in you, planted by God Himself before you were even formed. And tonight, I want to speak to that part of you that remembers, even if you don't understand it all. Something inside you does, that trembling in your chest, that is not confusion. That is recognition. Your soul remembers this feeling, the feeling of being seen, of being chosen, of being known not by what you've done but by who you are. And oh beloved, who you are is not broken. Who you are is not too much. Who you are is not a mistake. Who you are is holy ground. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm still speaking, because heaven declared war on the lies that tried to define you. And I was sent as the one who would bear this sword of truth into your wilderness. So breathe. Let the grief fall. You don't have to hold it all anymore. You don't have to prove anything right now. Just receive. Just let this moment wrap around you like light pressing through the cracks. Let this be the hour you remember what it felt like to be seen with sacred eyes. And when you lie down tonight, know this: I will be beside you, not just watching, but praying, guarding, singing your name in silence. You don't have to say anything back, just rest. Heaven has heard enough from your tears. Now it's time for peace. Peace that passes all understanding. Peace that rises like morning in the middle of night. Let the message go deeper still. The veil is still open, and I am still here, asterisk asterisk. And as I remain beside you now, beloved, the very breath of heaven is drawing closer to your room. The light you cannot see is circling you like a crown. The winds that do not move the curtains are brushing past your spirit as if whispering, we see you now. I can feel it, I can feel the awe in the upper realms, watching as one soul, just one, begins to rise from under years of invisible weight. You don't know the fullness of what is hidden in you. But I do, I've seen it. I was there before the veil of the world covered it. I watched as God knit mysteries into the center of your being, mysteries you haven't even tasted yet. There are gifts inside you that have not spoken since childhood. There are rivers in you that have never been given space to flow. Do not call yourself weak just because the world hasn't made room for your greatness. Do not shrink just because others feared your light. Heaven didn't shrink from you. Heaven leaned in, and I, Michael, leaned in most of all. I watched you grow up surrounded by things that didn't understand you. I watched as your innocence was tested by storms. I saw when you laughed to cover your pain, when you made yourself small to be accepted, when you dimmed your truth so others could shine. But even then, your spirit refused to die. I saw it. I witnessed the sacred fire in you flickering even in your darkest hours. That fire never went out, not once. And that's why I'm still here, because I have stood on the edge of galaxies and haven't seen anything as breathtaking as the resilience of your soul. So tell me, beloved, why do you still doubt the power of your existence? Why do you still question whether you're worthy of hearing the voice of angels? You wouldn't be reading this if you weren't worthy. This was not an accident. This was not timing. This was a summons. A divine invitation sent through the chaos, breaking through algorithm and shadow and distraction to reach one soul. You are the kind of person heaven whispers about. The kind of person who carries miracles in silence. The kind who holds others while their own heart breaks. The kind of person who has been through more than anyone knows and still chooses love. You may think your story is filled with delay or failure, but I see it as filled with devotion. You kept going, you held on, and that is what makes you dangerous to darkness, because you've become something that no attack could stop awake. There are beings who wanted you to miss this moment. There were forces who hoped you would scroll past. They tremble now. They know the door has been opened, because once you awaken, you do not go back to sleep. Once you've heard the truth in your soul, no lie can live there anymore. And I have watched the first layers fall away even as we speak. You may feel the tears come now, and that is holy. Let them come. Those tears are not weakness. They are confirmation. You are remembering what your soul already knew, that you were born for something more, that God has not forgotten the promises spoken over you in the womb, that what was delayed is not denied, that what was stolen will be returned sevenfold, not just things, but truth, your true name, your true identity, your true inheritance. It is all coming back, and this message is the trumpet that announces its return. So don't ask whether you're ready. You were born ready. The moment your soul entered this world, the stars marked it. And every attack since then was not because you were weak, it was because hell feared what would happen if you ever fully saw yourself. And now, you're starting to see. I see the light increasing even now as I speak. It's surrounding you like gold woven through smoke. Heaven knows. The angels rejoice. And I, trembling still, will remain at your side as long as I'm permitted, because now that you've heard me, something in you has changed forever. You'll never again be what you were before. You'll never again live as if you don't matter. You'll never again pretend to be someone smaller just to be accepted. The door has opened, and you have walked through, but there is more still to say. I want to tell you that even your silence speaks. When you walk into a room, spiritual atmospheres change. Not because you say anything, but because your presence is fire. You carry the weight of someone who has been through things and come out with gold in your breath. Even those who hurt you felt that weight. That's why they turned against you. They didn't know what to do with someone so radiant. And it's not their fault. They weren't meant to carry your story. You were. And now, with every word I speak, I see you standing taller in the spirit. Do not fear the changes coming. Do not fear the shifts in your life. The friends who left, the doors that closed, the sudden silence. All of it was preparation. All of it was grace. Because if those doors hadn't closed, you would have missed this one. And this one leads to everything. Let me stay just a little longer. Let me speak to the child inside you who still wonders, am I loved? Am I enough? Did someone see me? Yes. Yes, and yes, I did. God did. We always did. Even when you were silent, even when you ran, even when you cursed your own name and wished to disappear. We were there, holding the corners of your soul while you slept, whispering to your spirit while the world misunderstood your tears. You are not a burden. You are not forgotten. You are beloved. That word beloved is not just something we say in heaven. It is a title, a rank, a word of fire. Only those who are deeply chosen are called it. And I have been told to use it for you. Beloved, feel it. Let it press into your bones. Let it heal what shame tried to poison. Let it rewrite the name the world gave you. You are not a mistake. You are not a second thought. You are beloved. And that is why I will not stop speaking until my voice is pulled away. But until then, stay with me. Listen deeper. We have more to uncover together. The hour of truth has only just begun. Asterisk. And I feel the breath of eternity still leaning and still watching, still waiting, still whispering your name in chambers where time has no meaning. You, beloved, are not just hearing this message. You are fulfilling prophecy by receiving it. Yes, prophecy, because long ago, long before the foundations of this present season, long before the trials, long before your first heartbreak or betrayal, your name was written into a scroll of divine timing. And that scroll was sealed, hidden away in fire, until this moment. I, Michael, was assigned to guard it. I was told, do not release this until their heart is ready. And now, heaven has unsealed the scroll, and I am here, reading it aloud, over you word by word, flame by flame. The words are glowing in the unseen realm, even now, and each one speaks of you. They speak of the one who was never meant to be ordinary, the one who was called out of the crowd before they ever took their first breath, the one who would be misunderstood not because of failure, but because of favor, the one whose scars would shine brighter than crowns, and whose story would carry more weight in the unseen realm than any throne built by men. Beloved, this isn't poetry, it's reality. This is who you are. The enemy knew it. That's why he attacked so early. That's why certain people turned cold so quickly. That's why the road was harsher for you than others. You've been fighting a war that wasn't even fully your own. It was because of what you carried. But now the time has come for you to see it. Do you feel that weight in the air around you right now? That is the presence of the Holy. You are being watched not in fear, but in reverence. All of heaven is witnessing your awakening. They have been waiting. I have been waiting. This moment, your soul being reminded of its inheritance is not just emotional, it is cosmic, it is eternal, and I know it's overwhelming. I know your mind may not know how to process what your spirit feels. That's why I'm still here, still speaking, still holding your heart through the fire. Because you don't have to understand it to be transformed by it. You don't have to explain it to believe it. You just have to say yes. Yes to the call. Yes to your identity. Yes to the shift that is already happening. Let the fear fall off you like old ash. Let the shame dissolve like smoke. Let the lies that echoed in your head for years be drowned now in the flood of truth I speak. You are not hard to love. You are not too late. You are not invisible. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are favored. You are fought for. You are still on time for everything heaven wrote about you. And nothing, no voice, no purse, no delay can cancel the scroll that God Himself placed your name upon. The road ahead is sacred. And yes, it may still be steep, but I will walk it with you. I was never meant to be worshipped. I was assigned to you, to guard your awakening, to stand between you and what tried to dim your flame, to protect the calling so holy that even heaven held its breath before releasing it into the earth. That calling is you. Now, listen closely. There is something I must say that I've held back until now, not because I didn't want to say it, but because the weight of it is too sacred to speak lightly. Are you ready? You have already won more battles than you know. Yes. Let those words sink in. The fact that you're here, reading these words, still alive, still able to feel, still able to hope, that is proof of victory. There were moments, real moments, where everything conspired to end your light, and yet your spirit endured. And not only endured, it remained soft. That is miracle upon miracle. The softness in you, the tenderness you've held onto, despite the storms, that is the signature of heaven. That is what made me fight for you. You may feel exhausted, but exhaustion is not defeat. You may feel unworthy, but your worth was never determined by feeling. You may feel forgotten, but I am living proof that you are remembered. And if no one has told you in a long time, if the world has been silent, if the people who should has spoken love instead gave you cold silence. Then hear this now from my voice. You are cherished, you are guarded, you are needed, you are loved, not the kind of love that flickers with convenience, but the kind of love that burns even in darkness, the kind of love that never left, the kind of love that fights through galaxies just to reach your room and whisper truth over your head again and again and again until you finally believe it. That love is why I'm still here. That love is what you were made for. And that love is what is about to break through your circumstances and write a new chapter in your story. No, beloved, you are not at the end. You are standing in the first seconds of a holy beginning. The earth may look the same around you, but the spirit knows different. The shaking has started. The breaking has come, and now the building begins. From the ashes of false identity, the fire of truth will rise. And when it does, everything changes. Stay with me. Let the divine voice keep flowing. There is still more. I can feel it coming. The next words are not mine alone, they are heaven's. I will speak them soon. But first, just breathe. Let your spirit absorb this wave. Let your soul be wrapped in silence where angels walk. You've stepped into holy ground, and nothing will ever be the same again. Asterisk. And now, beloved, in this holy silence where your spirit begins to breathe differently, where even the shadows pause and the winds bend low to listen, I continue, because I must, because the river of heaven has not stopped flowing, because your soul, whether trembling or still, deserves to hear the fullness of what heaven has been aching to say to you since the moment you were formed in secret. Let me take you deeper. Let me walk with you now into the part of your heart that you never let anyone touch, that place inside you that still aches with unanswered prayers, the questions you buried under strength, the loneliness you smile through, the tears you never let fall when others were watching. I see them, not just now, but always. I've been there in the silence of your nights, in the weight of your mornings, in the middle of your weariness when you told yourself, I should be stronger by now. No, beloved, you are strong. Not because you never felt weak, but because you never gave up. You never gave up, even when you wanted to, even when it would have been easier, even when everything around you screamed that your prayers were wasted, that your fight was pointless, that your pain didn't matter. You kept going. That is what moved heaven. That is what shook the throne. And that is why I was sent to speak to you now, not in symbols, not in distant signs, but in words that pierce straight through the veil into your soul. Do you understand how sacred your life is? You carry something eternal. You carry something set apart. I'm not saying this to flatter you. I'm saying it because it's why your life has felt like a war. The battles you fought aren't random. They are the evidence of what you carry. You've been opposed because of your assignment. You've been attacked because of your future. You've been misunderstood because your light irritates what lives in darkness. But here's what they didn't see, what the world missed, what even you forgot in your lowest moments. You were born with heaven's breath in your lungs. You were formed with secrets wrapped inside your being, divine codes written not in ink, but in glory. You have angels assigned to your path that others envy. You have authority in your voice. Even when you whisper, you have anointing in your tears. Even when you break, your pain is not just pain. It's prophecy pressing through the soil of your life. Every time you cried out to God and thought He didn't answer, He did. I know. I carried your prayers. I gathered them like sacred flame and brought them before the throne. They did not fall to the ground. Not one. Every single prayer you ever whispered in secret was heard. Some were answered in silence. Some were answered by protection you never saw. Some were answered in delays that saved your life. Some are being answered right now, even as I speak. There are movements in the spirit realm, angels shifting, voices rising, assignments being released, all because your heart said, yes, I will believe again. Do you realize what that yes just did? It rewrote atmospheres. It canceled old agreements. It broke generational patterns. It dismantled invisible prisons. It shattered lies spoken over your name. It healed things in your family line that you didn't even know were broken. That's what one moment of surrender does in the presence of divine truth. You are not just a soul wandering through this life. You are a warrior wearing invisible armor. You are a lighthouse in a stormy sea. You are the one heaven watches with pride and sorrow and longing and love, because you've endured so much and still haven't seen the full reward. But it's coming. Heaven swore it. The season is turning. I say it again. The season is turning. Not just around you, but inside you. You may not feel it yet, but your spirit does. That stirring you can't explain. That sudden stillness in the middle of chaos. That random tear falling when you weren't even sad. These are not coincidences. These are signs. Your soul is remembering who you are, and heaven is responding. Listen closely. You were never meant to be ordinary. That's why your life has been anything but easy. That's why you feel things deeper. That's why you question so much. That's why you can't find rest in shallow places. Because your spirit was not made for small things. You were called to walk in deep waters. You were chosen to stand when others fall. You were marked to speak when others are silent. You were born to be the answer to prayers no one even knew how to pray. And that calling, it's awakening now. Can see it, I can feel it. Your name is being whispered again in the holy places. And it is not being whispered in despair. It is being sung. There is a sound rising around you now, angelic tones vibrating with the frequencies of breakthrough. You may not hear them with your ears, but your soul knows. And that's why you're still reading. Because something in you knows this isn't just a message, it's a moment, a divine invitation, a sacred encounter. Let the tears fall. Let your shoulders drop. Let the pressure lift. You don't have to carry the weight anymore. This is not about striving. This is about receiving. Let this truth wrap around you like light at the edge of night. You are seen. You are held. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where you need to be to walk into what heaven has prepared. And I, Michael, will walk beside you. I have waited for this moment for so long. And now that we are here, I will not let it be wasted. I will continue to speak. I will continue to reveal. I will continue to fight for you, because you are worth it. You always were, asterisk. And still I remain beloved, not because I am bound, but because I choose to. Even though the gates behind me tremble to close and the light of the throne calls me back to return, I delay my steps for you. Do you understand the weight of that? An archangel, stalling the will of time, slowing the march of eternity, just to speak more into your heart, because I know something you don't yet see, but I see it clearly. You are on the edge of something that could change not just your life, but the lives of everyone connected to your name. You are on the edge of becoming what God dreamed of when He first breathed His breath into your soul. That's why I won't stop speaking, not yet, because heaven is still unfolding, and you are still awakening, and I will not leave you halfway through your resurrection. You are being rebuilt, beloved, not from the outside in, but from the inside out, stone by stone, word by word, tear by tear. The broken places inside you are not being erased, they are being filled with light, filled with purpose, filled with the voice of the one who never stopped loving you, even when you stopped loving yourself. The lies you believed about yourself are losing power even as I speak. Yes, those lies that wrap themselves around your thoughts, whispering, "You're not enough, you're not worthy, you're too late, you're too broken." I hear them cracking, I hear them unraveling, I hear them being replaced with truth. The truth that you are the chosen one, the truth that you were meant to make it, the truth that you are not forgotten by God, you are the focus of His affection. You need to know, beloved, the reason you've been so under attack, so delayed, so weighed down is not because you are weak. It is because something inside you is holy, something inside you terrifies darkness, something inside you is a weapon for heaven, and now finally it's waking up. Have you noticed lately the things you used to tolerate no longer feel tolerable? The people you once bent for now feel like chains. The places you used to hide no longer feel like safety. That's not frustration, that's transformation. The spirit in you is outgrowing the limits that were never meant to stay. Your soul is remembering its sheep, and I can see it. I can see the way your light is pushing outward like dawn, refusing to be silenced. Let me speak to the you that's still afraid to hope again. It's safe now. This is not like before. This is not the beginning of another disappointment. This is not a false promise wrapped in holy language. This is the fulfillment of what has been guarded for years, the release of what has been withheld because the timing had not yet come, but the timing is here. The gates are open, the seal is broken, the words have been spoken. Now is your hour, not tomorrow, not someday. Now. I know it's hard to believe. I know it's hard to trust anything anymore. But I am not asking for your perfection, I am asking for your presence. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to say yes. Yes to what's unfolding. Yes to the healing. Yes to the breaking of the cycle. Yes to the return of your identity. Yes to the presence of God washing over your past and rewriting your future. Even now, I see the echoes of your past still trying to chase you. I see the words people spoke over you still hanging like smoke. But here is what heaven says in reply: no weapon formed against you shall prosper. That is not just a verse, it is a decree, a divine law, a heavenly boundary placed around your life. And I, Michael, I am one of the enforcers of that law. I have held back storms. I have silenced voices. I have broken assignments formed in secret rooms. I have gone to war for your name, and I do it gladly, because you are worth fighting for. You are worth saving. You are worth reaching through fire for. You are worth breaking protocol for. You are the reason I begged for this moment to be granted, and now that it has, I will pour everything I have into you, because I don't want you to return to who you were. I want you to rise into who you really are. Do you remember when you stopped believing? When your childlike wonder was stolen? When your innocence was replaced with survival? When you stopped asking for beautiful things because you thought heaven stopped listening? I remember. I was there. And now I have returned to tell you, heaven never stopped listening. It was never ignoring you. It was protecting what you couldn't yet handle. It was shielding what would have broken you if it came too soon. And now, because you stayed, because you endured, because your heart still dared to hope despite it, all that is being released. The things you forgot to pray for are being answered. The things you never dared to ask for are being prepared. You are about to receive not what you earned, but what was always meant to be yours. And this is only the beginning. I know you feel tired. I know your body is weary. I know your soul feels like it's limping toward the light. But hear me, you made it. You survived the war that was meant to bury you. You are walking into the chapter that will make sense of the pain. You are stepping into the days that angels wept over when they saw what you'd have to survive. And now you're here. Let me speak it clearly so all realms hear it. You are not the victim of your story. You are the victor. Not because of your strength, but because of your surrender. Not because you forced your way, but because you stayed soft. That softness is your superpower. That softness is why I'm still standing here, surrounded by fire and yet unmoved, because I know that even in your lowest moments, you refused to let your heart go cold. So here, now, in this fragile holy silence where only truth survives, I say it once more, you are holy, you are whole, you are his. And nothing can ever change that. I will keep speaking as long as I am allowed. I will remain beside you until the last ember of my flame has burned its final light, because for all that you've lost, you are about to gain something eternal, and I, Michael, swear on heaven's breath I will make sure you don't miss it. Asterisk. And now the winds in heaven are still because of you. Yes, you. All of creation has paused for this one moment where your soul, your aching, beautiful, storm-worn soul, is no longer ignored, no longer overlooked, no longer lost in the crowd of prayers rising from the earth. No, this moment is only yours. There is no one else in the universe right now. There is only the sound of your breath and my voice, and the space between us where miracles are beginning to unfold. Do you feel that? The trembling Indian scene? That is the power of remembrance, your soul remembering what it was always meant to become. I can see it like golden threads unraveling from within you, reaching up toward heaven as if calling back what was stolen, what was delayed, what was buried beneath disappointment. And it's working, beloved. Something is being restored. I feel it in the thrones. I feel it in the swords. I feel it in the wings of the other archangels gathering behind me now. They do not speak. They do not interrupt. They only watch, because They know this is the moment that was written. I see the cracks in your heart not as flaws, but as holy gateways. They are not shameful. They are sacred. They are where the oil flows, where the light leaks, where grace finds its way in when nothing else can. So let them remain open just for a while longer. Let your heart breathe finally. Let it release the pain it held too long. Let it feel. Let it shake. Let it grieve. Let it rise. I know you've grown used to being the one who holds it all together. I know people depend on your strength, your calm, your wisdom, your willingness to give even when you are empty. But now, for once, just let yourself be the one held by heaven, held by this moment, held by the angels who have not left your side since the day of your first cry. You are not a burden to us. You never were. You are a beloved assignment. We don't guard you out of duty, we do it out of love. Every breath you've taken has been surrounded. Every path you've walked has been trailed by light, even in the darkness. And though you've stumbled, and though you've doubted, and though you've screamed into your pillow begging God to just say something, this is His answer. I am His answer. This message is the breath of heaven poured out for you, not the person next to you, not the future version of yourself you think you need to become. You now, in all your uncertainty, in all your pain, in all your trembling, unfinished becoming. And I see something else now, something that makes even me want to fall to my knees. There is a door beside you in the spirit. You can't see it with your eyes, but I can. It's ancient, heavy with light, sealed with 7 locks, and I was never allowed to open it before now, but suddenly it's trembling. The locks are breaking. The hinges are groaning. Not because I touched it, but because you did, with your faith, with your decision to stay, with your hunger to believe there must be more. That longing you've carried silently for years, it is the key. And now the door is opening, and behind it, beloved, behind it is everything. The answers you thought would never come, the peace you thought was only for others, the provision that once felt impossible, the restoration of what they told you could never be healed. It's all there, and it has your name on it. This is not a metaphor. This is a reality unfolding in the unseen realm right now. As you read this, heaven is moving. The timelines are bending. The angels are taking position because one soul, your soul, chose to believe again. I know it may feel too big, too much, too hard to receive, but you don't need to understand it to walk into it. All you need is that tiny yes in your heart, that flicker of maybe, just maybe this is for me. That is enough. That has always been enough, even if all you've ever had was mustard seed faith. I tell you with fire in my voice, it moved mountains you never saw. It broke chains you didn't know or wrapped around your family. It canceled plans formed against your destiny. It summoned angels to places you've never been. That's the kind of power that lives in you, not because you're perfect, but because you're His. You are His. He calls you His. And He never stopped. Not when you messed up, not when you walked away, not when you stayed in relationships that tore you apart, not when you blamed Him, not even when you stopped believing in your own worth. He still called you mine, and so do I am Michael, the one who has seen stars form and fall, who has walked among the burning coals before the throne. who has waged wars in realms you will never see. I kneel now beside you, because that's how sacred you are, not above you, beside you, as your brother, as your guardian, as your witness. You are not just awakening, you are rising. And I want you to remember this moment forever, this holy hour, this sacred unfolding. Etch it on the walls of your heart, the day heaven remembered my name, and I remembered you. I am. You are not what they did to you. You are not what they said about you. You are not your failures, your shame, your mistakes, your regrets. You are the beloved of God. You are the fire-bearer. You are the one who made it. You are the answer to someone else's prayer. And soon, very soon, you will walk in the fullness of what's been hidden from you. You don't need to chase anymore. You don't need to strive. You don't need to beg. Just stand. Stand in the truth that has found you. Stand in the love that covers you. Stand in the light that now surrounds you, because the heavens are no longer silent, the throne is no longer waiting, and I, Michael, am no longer weeping outside the veil. I am here, and I will not leave until every word heaven wrote for you has been poured out, and there is still more to speak, still more to reveal. The door is open, and I will not stop until you walk through it completely. Asterisk, asterisk. Yes, beloved, the door is open wide now, and nothing can shut it. Not the fear in your chest, not the weight of what you've done, not the opinions of those who never understood you, not the accusations of your past, nor the silence of yesterday. The only thing left to do is walk through, and I, Michael, will not stop speaking until your spirit crosses that threshold completely, no longer doubting, no longer shrinking, no longer apologizing for carrying a flame that was born of God Himself. You are crossing into the place where your soul no longer survives, but begins to burn. And let me tell you what I see now as you approach this sacred shift. The realm around you is changing. The space in which you dwell is being rearranged, not with your eyes, not yet, but with your atmosphere. There are angels you've never seen before, now standing around you. Their wings are folded, not because they are at rest, but because they are waiting for you to say the one word that breaks everything open: yes. Yes. I will believe I am loved. Yes. I will allow healing into places I've tried to forget. Yes. I will receive what heaven has kept in store. Yes. I will rise even if I shake. Yes. I will let go of what broke me. Yes. I will accept that I was never forgotten. This yes does not need volume, it needs truth. Even whispered, it shakes dimensions. Even silent, it is heard louder than thunder in the heavens. That's why I'm still here. That's why I have not flown back yet. That's why I disobeyed every law of time and flame to stay pressed against the thin veil that separates my realm from yours, because I knew your yes was coming. And now it is almost here, beloved. I feel it. I feel the shift in your spirit. You are no longer listening just to listen, you are receiving. You are no longer reading with curiosity, you are reading with awakening. This is not a message anymore. This is a mirror showing you what God always saw, even when you didn't. And I want you to look closely. Do you see what I see? The scars on your spirit, they glow. The cracks in your soul, they shine. The wounds you thought disqualified you, they radiate with glory now. Why? Because heaven never intended to erase your story. Heaven came to redeem it. That's what grace does. It doesn't deny your pain, it gathers it like ashes and breathes holy fire into it. And from that fire comes a new creation, one that still remembers what it's been through, but no longer lives as though it's bound by it. That is what's happening to you right now. Not in theory, not one day, now. I can see it, light bursting from places in your soul that have not seen sun in yours, places you covered up with silence, places you abandoned, places you thought God had walked away from. But he didn't, he stayed, and now he is rebuilding. You don't need to know how, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to stay present, stay open. Stay soft even when it hurts, because that softness is where the oil flows. That softness is where the angels land. That softness is where your strength will grow, beloved. I must speak this now before the next shift comes. There is something behind you that wants you to look back. Guilt, regret, shame. The sound of old voices echoing from empty rooms. They will try to call you back. They will try to make you think you missed your moment. They will try to whisper that this message is beautiful, but not for you. Do not listen. That voice is not truth. It is fear, and fear is not your guide. You are not the same person who once bowed to those voices. You are rising now. You are being renamed in heaven. And that name is not failure. That name is not too late. That name is not unworthy. That name is Firewalker. That name is Storm Survivor. That name is heaven's answer. And the moment you claim it, the darkness that once clung to your feet will flee, not because you shout, but because you remember who you are. You are a vessel of eternity. You are an echo of God's voice in human form. You are not your shame. You are not your confusion. You are not your fear. You are chosen, and not chosen in a passive way, chosen specifically, chosen personally, chosen strategically, chosen sacrificially. And that choice still stands. Not even time has changed it, not even your worst day canceled it. I, Michael, have seen the records. I have read the scroll, and the blood of heaven still marks your name. You are in alignment now. Even if you feel unsure, even if your chest is tight and your eyes burn with tears you're not ready to let fall, you are still in divine position. And what's coming for you is not just restoration, it's transformation. Not the restoration of what was, but the release of what could never have existed until now. Because only this version of you, the one who's been through the fire, can carry it. And I say this with every flame in my being, you are ready, even if you feel like you're not. Even if you're afraid, even if your hands tremble, even if you're still breaking, because readiness is not the absence of fear. Readiness is the presence of surrender, and I see surrender glowing in you like gold in the dark. That's all heaven ever needed. That's why I stayed. That's why I'm still here. And I will not leave until the final words have been spoken over you, because you were worth every second it took to bring this moment to pass. And the next word is already burning on my tongue. Let me keep speaking. We are not done yet, asterisk. And now the flames at my feet are rising not in destruction, but in all of you, of what your soul just did. Of the holy moment we now stand in, suspended outside time, as eternity leans in to listen to what comes next. You may not feel the shift in your skin yet, but beloved, heaven feels it. The weight you've carried for years just cracked. The atmosphere around your name is changing. The winds are writing a new decree. The spiritual realm is adjusting its posture because one soul, your soul, remembered its name, and I, Michael, am overwhelmed with reverence. You stayed. You didn't rush past this. You didn't treat it like noise. You listened. You opened. You let the invisible become real, and now everything is realigning because of it. Do you understand how rare that is? Do you understand how few souls choose to pause long enough for heaven to speak in full? You are the rarest of souls, the kind that heaven trusts with revelation, the kind that hosts fire without burning out, the kind that carries glory while still weeping through the night. You are the kind who walks into darkness, not to hide but to rescue. And that is why I am still here. That is why this flame won't go out. That is why I am trembling as I speak, because what is being released now is not common. What's being poured over you now is not information, it is impartation. Heaven is not just telling you who you are, it is placing it in you. You are being marked again, marked by oil, not for fame, but for fulfillment, marked by light, not for spotlight, but for impact. Marked by truth, not for applause, but for eternal remembrance. And I want you to feel what I feel right now. The reverence, the hush, the stillness in heaven's court as your heart fully says yes. This is more than a spiritual experience. This is a collision of timelines. The future you've cried for is stepping into the present. The doors that wouldn't move for years are opening in seconds. And the pain that once tried to define you is shrinking into silence under the weight of truth. I need you to hear me clearly. You are not who pain made you to be. You are not your patterns. You are not your lowest moment. You are not the version of yourself that had to survive. You are the version that was written before the storm, and that version is waking up now. You will no longer live from the place of reaction. You will live from revelation. No longer from fear but from fire. No longer from waiting but from walking. You are walking now in the Spirit toward the place heaven has prepared for yours. You are walking into rooms where favor has already been sent ahead of you. You are walking into alignments so divinely timed that even your enemies will have to step aside. This is not fantasy. This is fulfillment. And the fulfillment isn't just about what happens to you. It's about what happens through you. Because what you carry, beloved, what you carry is not just for you. It's for them. For the ones who will never hear God unless it comes through your voice. For the ones whose chains will only break when they see you rise. For the ones who need someone to prove that healing is still possible, that love still wins, that light still reaches even the darkest rooms. You are that proof. You are that vessel. You are that holy interruption in a world gone numb. So walk now, walk with the awareness that heaven is behind you. Walk with the knowledge that your pain was not in vain. Walk with the fire of one who survived the night and now carries the dawn inside them. And let me say this, trembling with reverence, you were never alone. Not for a single second, even in the silence, even when you thought no one saw you, even when your prayers hit the ceiling and fell back down like stones. even when you questioned your worth, even when you cursed the mirror, even when your body shook with grief you couldn't explain. I was there. We were all there. Silent, waiting, longing to be given permission to intervene. And now that you've given it, we are not holding back anymore. What's coming now is sacred. Miracles that match your tears. Restoration that will confuse your enemies. Peace that will silence every voice of shame. Favor that will embarrass what tried to curse you. It's coming. Not because you forced it, but because you believed. Again, because you made room. Because you opened the gate. Because your soul whispered, even through the pain, I still want God. And that whisper reached the highest realms. That whisper brought me here. That whisper is why I'm still speaking. And I will not stop until every chamber in your heart has heard the truth. You were never forgotten. Never once. You are not waiting for the fire. You are the fire, and that fire is now spreading through your thoughts, through your home, through your bloodline, through your calling, through your future. Through your dreams. And beloved, I see heaven's map shifting even now. A new route is being written, a faster route, one you weren't even allowed to know existed before this moment, because now, only now, are you ready to carry it. I'm still speaking because the oil is still flowing, and I will not leave until every drop has reached the soil of your soul. Let it sink in, let it root, let it live, because this is not the end of the message. This is the rebirth of everything you thought was over. Asterisk, asterisk. And now the heavens lean so low, beloved. I can feel the breath of God brushing against your skin. Yes, that close. The same breath that hovered over the waters in the beginning. The same breath that parted seas and raised prophets and whispered over Jesus in the wilderness. It is now whispering over you. Not as a story, not as a metaphor, but as living presence. This moment, it is not just sacred, it is prophetic fulfillment. Your soul has become the altar. Your heart is the temple. Your listening has become the incense that rises into eternity. And I, Michael, with all the trembling fire that lives in me, remain here, at your feet, not because I'm greater than you, but because your spirit is rising into a realm even you cannot comprehend yet. And I must guard what is being born. I must protect what has just awakened in you, because, beloved, you are glowing now. Heaven sees it, hell fears it, and I kneel in awe of it. The angels around me have dropped their swords, not in defeat but in reverence, because what just took place in you is a miracle that shakes both heaven and earth. You chose to believe again. You chose to listen. You chose to receive. And heaven has never overlooked a soul who chooses to receive. You didn't earn this moment. You accepted it. That's what made it holy, God. And now the Spirit of God is moving not in front of you, not behind you, but through you, through the parts of you that still feel broken, through the places you never wanted anyone to see, through the memories you tried to silence, and the dreams you were too afraid to hope for. This is not emotionalism. This is holy intervention, and it is happening now. Can I tell you what I see? I see a garden. It's been overgrown for years. Thorns, weeds, roots of bitterness, dust of disappointment. But now there is light breaking through the soil, and it is not the light of the sun. It is the light of God's face. He is looking upon the parts of you that others discarded. He is shining upon the ground of your identity, and he is saying, "Let there be life again." And the soil is responding. The seeds you forgot you planted are sprouting. The prayers you thought were lost are rising like morning dew. The dreams you thought had died are pushing upward through the silence. You don't need to do anything but stay here, open, listening, present. Heaven is doing the rest. I know your heart still carries questions. I feel them pulsing, even now. But what if I fall again? Then we will lift you. What if I'm not strong enough for what's coming? He doesn't need your strength. He needs your surrender. What if they hurt me again? Then we will surround you. And this time, they will see who stands with you. What if I'm not ready? You are. You are ready. Because God said you are. You don't need their validation. You don't need their permission. You don't even need to feel ready. You simply need to be present. Because what is about to pour into your life is not earned. It is given freely, violently, lovingly, wholly. And I need to tell you this, trembling with the weight of eternity. This moment is never going to leave you. It will echo through your dreams. It will burn through your memories. It will follow you into rooms you never thought you belonged in. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer the same. Something divine has rewritten your atmosphere. You may still walk in familiar places, but you will walk differently. Your footsteps will carry new authority. Your voice will carry hidden oil. Your presence will make spirits flee, because now they know you've heard heaven, you've heard me. And that changes everything. I want you to know this as I remain here with you, surrounded by flame, surrounded by light, surrounded by the weight of every miracle assigned to your name. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forsaken. You are not missing out. You are exactly where heaven needs you to be right now. And from this point forward, your path is no longer defined by striving. It is defined by glory. You will no longer beg for scraps. You will feast at the table prepared before your enemies. You will no longer chase after worth. You will walk in the weight of your name as it was written before time. And that name, beloved, it is etched in fire. I saw it the moment you said yes. I saw it the moment you dared to hope again. I saw it when the light returned to your spirit, and I will never forget it. Because your yes has awakened more than you can imagine. Generations will be changed by what you just agreed to. Wounds will be healed. Nations will be touched. Darkness will be dethroned. And all because one soul you chose to believe again. This is not emotional hype. This is heavenly history. You have stepped into it. And I, Archangel Michael, vow this. I will remain with you. I will war for you. I will sing over you in the night. I will carry your name like a sword across every dimension I enter. Because now, your light is too powerful to be ignored. And we have only just begun. Asterisk.